My roommate Lexie announced she was moving her boyfriend in permanently, and I laughed in her face. Once I started laughing, I couldn't seem to stop. There was nothing funny about the situation. She glared at me as I finished laughing, wiping the sudden tears from my eyes. "I'm being serious," she snapped. "That's what makes it funny," I said, gasping for breath. I shook my head at her. "I think it's hilarious how you think it's okay to just move your boyfriend in here without even talking to me about it first." She frowned. "I'm talking to you about it now," she replied sharply. Our apartment was tiny. I glanced around at the space, trying to imagine a huge, hulking guy like her boyfriend invading our space. It wasn't possible. The kitchen was so tiny we couldn't open the fridge and the oven at the same time. Cabinets had to be opened individually. There was no way Mike was going to fit in here with us. We had one bathroom that we shared and two tiny bedrooms. "Where is he gonna sleep?" I asked when I finally caught my breath. She looked smug. "In my bedroom with me," she answered. I laughed again. "On your tiny twin bed?" I asked. She looked offended at my laughter. "I'm getting a queen bed. It'll fit." "In her tiny bedroom?" I was already shaking my head at her. "No way," I protested. "There's no way he's going to fit. You're going to be miserable." Lexie stared at me. "It's already been decided," she finally said. "He's moving in next week." That made me freeze. I couldn't let this happen. I went into my bedroom and grabbed the folder of all my important documents. Pulling out the lease, I scanned it, but there was no clause about uninvited guests staying for long periods of time. That was a bust. So I texted the landlord asking about it. He said he didn't care as long as the rent was paid on time. I pulled up the group chat I had with our friends and texted them about what was happening. Lexie read the messages, but said nothing in the chat while our other two friends sided with her. Mary told me to just deal with it for the next 2 months until the lease was up, that it was Lexie's room to do with as she pleases. Our other friend just sent an "oh well" emoji and left it at that. Mike slowly started moving in. First, his boxes appeared in the living room. Then his PlayStation was hooked up to the TV, and suddenly he was over at our apartment all the time, playing his PlayStation and watching TV. I no longer had privacy, and soon his toiletries were in our bathroom too. His protein powder took up one of the cabinets, and his weights and workout gear took up the far corner in the living room. The place was so cramped, and I was getting claustrophobic. I had to lock my bedroom door to keep Mike out of it because he had a problem with invading someone's personal space. I started spending more time away from home, going to coffee shops and the library to get work done. Finally, I couldn't stand it any longer, so I decided to sit them down and talk. "I can't keep living like this," I said gently. "Something needs to change." Lexie exchanged a glance with Mike, and I didn't like the expression on her face when she turned back to me. "You could always move out," she said flatly. There was no emotion on her face as she suggested that. I was shocked. I suddenly couldn't get in enough air as I stared at her, my best friend and roommate. I thought we would always have our backs, forever. But then she does this. "What?" I whispered hoarsely. "Are you serious?" "Yes," she said. "I'm sorry, but Mike is my future." "And what about our friendship?" I asked. She wouldn't look at me, instead staring at the suddenly interesting carpet beneath her feet. I couldn't believe this. My heart cracked as I stared at her with wide eyes. "You're going to throw our friendship away for a guy?" I demanded. Lexie sighed. "We can still be friends," she protested. "I have room in my heart for both of you. I just need to live with Mike right now." I shook my head at her. "If you force me out, there will be no more friendship left between us," I said coldly. She avoided eye contact and started picking at her shirt. "I'm sorry," she whispered. I nodded slowly. Then in a hollow tone, I said, "Fine, I'll be out by Monday." On Monday, I grabbed my last bag and marched to the front door where Lexie was waiting for me. She reached out to hug me, but I took a step back and shook my head. "Don't," I said coldly. Then I walked out of the apartment without looking back.